Hi Pre-K teachers, I am at Oak Hill Elementary with Amaryllis, an extraordinary bilingual dual language Pre-K teacher, and she's going to take us through her room and explain the different components of her classroom that make it function so well for her and for her students. So we're starting with the outside of her classroom, and Amaryllis, take it away.
Welcome to my classroom, and this is how the kids arrive. They have the routine where they have to move their name from their home to their house when they first get here in the mornings. And when they leave, they also have to do the opposite, the names from the school to the home. And then they put their folders here, and they keep moving and put their backpacks. And here is our schedule also that they can follow along. And here we have our classroom rules and the language of the day following. And here, whenever they leave to the bathroom, they have to write their name in order to be able to go to the bathroom. And that way I can keep track of where they're at. In here they have their trolleys, and they can put their sweaters or whatever they need to put there. And in here, as they finish writing their name in the mornings, they can select a morning center. And they have 6 different options. And they select their names from the jar, and then they put it wherever they want to go. And if they want to move, again, they have to clean their area and then move their stick to whatever center they want to go. Over here, we have our sand and water station. And for the fall theme, I created leaves with letters, and they have to find the different letters, and they have to mark with an X the letter that they find, and as they keep finding them, the goal is that they find all of them. They can also write in these little clipboards, and sometimes they also like to trace the leaf. Up here we have our line order, and this has allowed me to manage some behavior problems that I had in the line. And each kid is assigned a number, and when I line them up, I say number 1s come line up, number 2s line up, and they already know where is their belong or what is their line. Also, when we line up to leave, we sing a song, and that allows them to remember what is their expectation in the line. And I got this from the e-circle when I went a long time ago, and it's also good for counting. So I do 1 to 10, and we do the little song. In here we have our dual language student-generated alphabet, and at first, this is just a starting point. I just gave them an image, and I helped them say the sound to match the letter to the sound.
Very nice. Yeah.
Over here is our art center, and I try to put little things that they can do independently, and these are some little pieces of paper that come in a little notepad at Michael's, and then they put just water, and they have to paint the image that is in there, and it helps with the fine motor skills a little.
Very nice.
This is the math center, and right now I have different activities. One is for counting. They have to count and mark the number.
Can you tell us what site you got those from?
Oh yes, it's called 3dinosaurs.com.
All right, 3dinosaurs.com. Thank you.
Yes, and that's free. They have a bunch of different thematic units that you can print. This is a sizing activity. This is lecture, and this other one is lecture also. It's small, medium, large, and they have to put the ones that are missing. This one I partially created and I partially borrowed from somebody from Pinterest. These ones were borrowed from Pinterest, and they have to get the vertical shape that belongs to that mouth, and then they put it there on top of the square. And then when they finish that, they're supposed to get a piece of paper. This one I created, and it says, help the pumpkins find the right mouth. And then there's 4 different ones, and then I cut shapes with the die cut machine, and then they had to figure out if this shape belongs to one of them and glue it. Like this one goes with the rectangle. And then they can take it home when they're finished.
Nice.
This one was for the pet unit for last week. And then I found this activity also on Pinterest. And on Pinterest, they take me to teachers pay teachers. And it was free. And they had to put it by size, large, medium, small. And then these are real biscuit for dogs. And then they had to decide where those things belong. It belongs in the large one. And they had to sort the cookies. And when they're done, they have to put it back. And I also have books for math, and I have tracing shapes. They love these, and they just grab. I always have papers in all my centers, and that allows them just to have a free choice if they can draw shapes by themselves. So they have different shapes. And in here, this is part of the SEL, and I put both the English and Spanish, and then when the kids have a meltdown or they have a feeling where they need to calm down, they come here. And I got this in IKEA, and they can hug the heart, and that helps them calm down. And I also have different sensory things that they can use to calm down. I found this dinosaur in Target, and they can squish it. This was given to us by our counselor, and they have different things to calm down. So I have a variety of things to help them through that. And then I also have books for them related to the different feelings, and I have puzzles that have these feelings also.
Okay. Well, before we go too far away from your math area that you showed us, I wanted to make sure to point out too that in each one of your centers you do have vocabulary words, and so here are just a few of them that you have in your math center.
Yes, that's the English for the dual language. In here is our pretend center. It's a fall flower shop, and I change it throughout the year, so eventually it's going to become a spring flower shop. But that way they kind of remember from previous experiences what to do. And then they have the cash register, and I have the different vocabulary words laying around, the flores, and in here they had to classify the flowers by their colors, and it helps if you put a picture, a small picture, so they can classify them.
And you have all those stored in a shoe hanger, right?
Yes, it's a shoe rack that I recycle. I actually cut it down. It used to be bigger. So that way I can fit it in my pretend center.
Very creative.
In here we have little letters that they can write to their friends. And I put all the students' names so they can come and copy the name of their friend if they don't know how to write it. And then they can take the letter with a flower arrangement as a gift to their friend. And I also try to post the prices every time I put a flower shop. And I keep it simple so they know it's just $1. It's like a dollar tree. And actually, they turned this around, but I forgot that I have these.
And what is this?
So in here it says what they can do in the flower shop. And it's in Spanish and English. And it says, at the flower shop, I can decide what vase I want to use. Choose what flowers you want to give and prepare flower arrangements. Write a card to a friend, clean and organize the store, and I have mops and brooms so they can clean the store.
And where did you find the broom?
I found it in Toys R Us.
Okay.
Because the one I used to have from the Prek department broke down.
Oh.
So I just went and got one. But they were like $20. So I can get reimbursed by my school. So
Nice.
That's why I did it. So at the beginning when I first introduced the center, I read these to them so that way they know what to do, what is the expectation. And then after that, I just allow them to do it by themselves.
Okay.
And then I keep going over here. I try to post things that we do in language arts around the classroom. We did the syllabus, Pape People Poo, and we also did the Cancionero song. And then in here, I forgot about this, they can sort their friend's name by according to their initial letter. So I did put the initial letter in red so they can make the distinction between the first letter and the rest. and then they had to put it on the correct pocket. And then here is kind of tight. In here is my ABC center, and then I try to incorporate my students' name a lot. And this is one activity that I did, and I found these letters in childcareland.com, and then I just added a sticker with the name of the student, and then they have to build the name, the initial letter of their friend using these erasers that are found in the Target dollar bin. And it's good for their fine motor skills because they have to balance the eraser so that it doesn't fall. You see, it's kind of hard. So the goal is that they do their friend's name or letter, the initial letter.
And that must be engaging too, because not just because the hands-on, but you've got their little pictures on there, and they're working with their friends and seeing their pretty faces.
Yes, they, for some reason, they love anything that has to do with their friends. This is another activity that I did on Monday with them. I read them a silly story that I wrote with rhymes in Spanish, and then after that we found all the rhyming words. We talked about it a little, and then I introduced this activity. All of them got a card, and then we were talking about rhymes and what rhymes with burbuja. And then I tried to make it obvious, so I underline the part that rhymes. So I told them, okay, calabaza rima con burbuja? No. Miedo rima con burbuja? No. Burbuja rima con burbuja? Sí.
Can I have your attention, please? Parents, if you are the owner of a blue BMW that is parked in the Circle Drive, we need you to move your vehicle. You're blocking traffic for dismissal. Blue BMW in the Circle Drive, please return to your vehicle. Thank you.
Sorry, pre-K teachers.
So we did several different ones. I think it's about 12. So, and then they just have to do it by themselves. But we did it as a whole group before I put it in the center.
Great, good.
And then this is a silly thing that I did with the kids. I did this first with the how you call these sponge letters. And then I painted them and I put them in this piece of paper, and then the goal is that they find the letter with the hand, and then they grab it with their other hand, and they have to match that letter to the one that is painted, and then they have to keep doing that till they find all of them. And I used to have a spoon, and then they got bored of the spoon, and then I found this silly hand, and they started to gain interest again on it.
So it's amazing how one little thing can bring them back to the same exact activity.
This is another activity I found inspiring, and it's similar to the one with their initial letters of their names, but this is for Halloween words. So H is for Halloween, and then this is from Gift of Curiosity. And this one only requires that you sign up and you receive emails, but it's free. And you get emails maybe once a week telling you about different activities that they create. And they have to just fill the circles with spiders. So that's another thing. And in here we have the initial letters, spider webs, and then they had to find the lowercase, the spider, and put it in the right spider web.
And do you change this up to match each theme?
I try, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So probably after this, I would try to make things related to fall, planting, because we just started with talking about the plant cycles of the pumpkin. Over here, I found this idea in Pinterest also, and this is like the master. And what they do is that they look for one black and white copy that I made, and then they have to copy their friend's name and write it in the space.
I see.
Then one of my students left one by accident that we can see how they did it. And even though it's not perfect, it's just to get them going. This is another thing on my writing center. I put scissors with different shapes. I found it in Ross, and it was a pretty decent price, so they have different lines. In here is for fine motor skills, cutting, ripping the paper and gluing it. And then I just put a copy so they can do it by themselves.
So
and
they,
I just use butcher paper, so it's not expensive.
okay, lots of choices and lots of different levels for the kids.
I try. And then this is stamps for Halloween, and then I always keep paper here also, and then just grab a piece of paper and then they can start using the stamps as many as they want, and hopefully they also write the words. And this is for tracing lines, and this one we just have to be careful that we teach them from the start that the sun needs to stay inside the box, and you have to be careful when you carry it, because I have chances where they drop some of it, and then I had to teach them how to clean it. But there's different types of lines, and I found these in Pinterest also, I think. And then they just have to draw that line that they see.
Good.
And I keep different things in my writing center that they can use. They have the whiteboards, and then they have the chalkboards, keep chalk, and then erasers. And I also have different colors here that they can use. And then they have little stamps. They love these little stamps with different shapes, and they can just use it. I have some books, more tracing stuff that they love. They always like these. I don't know why. And that's my writing center. Oh, I forgot that I had these over here, but for some reason they haven't paid that much interest, but maybe people are more lucky than I am. And I sort all my letters, the magnetic letters, and I put a magnetic board, and they're supposed to grab whatever, you can put their names or thematic unit words, and they're supposed to look for the letters and write them in the magnetic board.
Build the word. Okay.
Oak Hill Elementary, come to the Teacher's Lounge for 2nd grade Ooly Goody Day. Come on down.
Let me come around.
And then in here, we just talk about the vowels, finish talking about the vowels, and then each of them help me highlight if they have that letter or not. So that's one thing that we did as a whole group to help them remember, oh, does my name have that letter, yes or no?
Okay, so we got computers, and then
science. I keep the computers, and this is science. This is, they have to sort by the type of animal. This was for the pet unit. If it's mascota or animales salvajes, and I have toy animals, and they love anything that is concrete like this instead of paper, and they have to sort it in the right spot.
And I like that you said that instead of paper, because that saves you so much time from having to go wait in line for the copier, and then it saves you in the school money too, so you're not making
and
lots of copies.
It's more engaging for them. For some, they love that tactile. And then this is paper, but it's harder to get the concrete thing, and they have to classify according to solid, liquid, gas, and then they have to decide where to put it and put it. I always use Velcro for everything, and it helps. Because if you just put the paper, they don't like that. When they see something sticking, it helps them getting engaged. And I did similar with the magnets. They have to do the rainbow, and then they have to put the magnet in the middle tray, and they have to complete the rainbow.
And that's just a magnet glued to a pom-pom, right?
Yes, yes.
Nice.
And then here is for this also sensory, where they have to, I have different types of tweezers. I found these ones recently in Teacher Heaven, and for some reason my kids like these ones better than these ones because they are harder. So these ones allows them to hold on to the object and put it in there. But these ones, my experience hasn't been that good, so I recommend the little ones instead.
Okay.
And in here we have life cycles, and I use it for different types of life cycles. Before I used it for our mascot, I had the toys for the life cycle of the frogs, and now I have the life cycle of the plant to go along with the life cycle of the pumpkin. So they have to sort it according to what is the number, what happened first, the seed, right? And then they keep putting it in the right spot, and when they're done with that, they're supposed to make a drawing of the life cycle.
Now, do they show you the drawings that they do, and so you kind of use it as a quick assessment, or do they?
we did a lesson about it, so they did it with me as a whole group, and then they did it
I
independently.
see.
So these they do it by themselves.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But you can do that. Yeah, that will work. Oh, look at these. They drop here. And they have their science journals, and they have science books also. And I have also mealworms that they can touch, and then they can put them there and observe them. And here we have our mascot, and we also get mascots from the science department, and they love seeing them, so I keep them near the science center so they can see them. And we have our microscope, but I haven't been able to introduce it yet, but my goal is to introduce it so they can use it. And we have our
Discovery bottles.
Discovery bottles, yeah. And I saved these throughout the years. I have some of them for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they'll last a long time. You have to be careful about the bottles you choose because they're starting to get flimsier and thinner. So it looks like you've got Gatorade bottles.
Yeah, they're thick, so
Yeah.
they last a long time.
Okay, I'm very excited about this next center, which is your library center that you've turned into yet another pretend and learn center. Let's see if this iPad will cooperate. So you want to tell us about this?
This is the vet clinic, and I opened it last week to go along with the pet unit. And in here, I created different clipboards where they can pretend to be a vet. And then I have it in English and Spanish. And then in here, in the rectangle, they had to make a drawing of the stuffed animal that they choose. And then they write the name of the pet. And if they misspell, that's okay. I just let them write. And in here, they had to decide what's wrong with the pet. And then they had to mark what's wrong. And then after that, they take care of the pen, and then they have to use the little clipboards, and then they give them either medicine, ointment, a cast, a lot of rest, a bath, a band-aid, and they have to write when they have to come back. And then we have X-rays, and then the kids, if the animal has a broken bone, they can use an old projector that I have here that I borrowed from the library, and they can put it and see what's wrong with the animal. And then you can kind of see, oh, this animal is gonna have puppies.
Oh,
So you can see the puppies in there. There they are. The
how
bones.
cute. And you got those pictures from just the internet
Yeah, I
and then
just
copied
went
them?
to Google Images, and you do a search on animal X-rays, and then you can do a specific animal. Like I tried to find specific images to the stuffed animals that I had, and then I just found them. They're available online. They're
Okay.
free. And then the reason I decided to convert these into another pretend center is because I was noticing that they were losing interest in the library, and I wanted to create something that will get them engaged again in the library. Still having books, and that helped a lot with that.
Okay.
I think that's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your room. Just a quick little glimpse of your block center and your the centers that they get to do later on in the afternoon, your bilingual pairs. I noticed you have another piece of conscious discipline over here too. So thank you so much, Amaryllis, for sharing your room and your time, and I hope that we can come visit another month so we can share all these great things that you do with your kids and for your kids. Thank you.
Thank you.